All right, everybody. So again, this is the Money Mantras Daily Training. We are going to be going over the Webslinger strategy on the Liberty Scanner. But first and foremost, like every single training video, I'm just going to go over the HFX trading checklist, which pretty much are the steps that you never, ever, 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 ever want to skip, no matter how good you get, how comfortable you become with your trading, because it's all a part of what we have to do. And I say this a lot of times, but we need to do a fundamental analysis. We need to do a technical analysis, and we need to do a sentimental analysis. And all these three things will help us get into better trades. Now, when it comes to Webslinger specifically, Webslinger is actually best used for. Let me lock this meeting. There we go. No one else can join. So when it comes to Webslinger is actually best for trending markets, right? It's actually best for trending markets. So that means that you want to study the trend over a longer period of time, and you're not just going to want to take 1 minute trades or maybe even 2 minute trades or 3 minute trades. You want to take 5 minute trades, 15-minute trades, longer trades. So it's designed for that, but only because your accuracy will be just a little bit more, increased. So the first step is always going to be, and it's crazy because I always tell you guys to do these steps. However, they're more crucial when using Webslinger since it's meant to observe a longer trend. So the first thing is forexfactory.com, like always. And we just want to check the time that we're trading, which is 10:27 a.m. All right, so I see 10:30, yellow folder with USD. You want to avoid red folders because the red folders are just letting you know that the market is going to be moving very fast and unpredictable. And I'll just demonstrate with a little visual on the different color folders and how they could affect the market moving in your entry point. So you guys can either write this, copy this drawing down. You can go back and watch this video. So let's just say that this is the market, right? So we have the top line is our resistance and the bottom line is our support, right? So the market is usually moving like this, right? The market is usually going up and down, revisiting the same entry points over and over. Wait, let me do this a different way. Let me do it like this, a yellow folder. I'll do it by color so that it makes more sense, right? So if it's a yellow folder, that means that the market is going to be moving like this, right? It's going to keep revisiting the same entry points over and over, right? It may go a little bit outside the box, but it's going to be pretty steady and consistent. And that's what we need so that we can have the best entry points. If we know that every time the market visits this resistance point is going to sell, then we know, okay, that's a good thing because we don't have to guess. We don't have to stay here long. We just have to wait for the market to revisit our resistance. And same thing with the support. If the market is going to keep touching the same support area, then that's a good thing for us because it's really not unpredictable. Now, when it comes to the orange folders, right, we still have our resistance, we still have our support, but the market may do something like this. So it may be consistent, then it may go outside just a little bit, right? So it's not necessarily staying within the pattern that it does. It is having these little spike outs. It's not too crazy, right? It's not too crazy, but it's still not as consistent as a yellow folder, right? So if we're trading on something that's orange, we just want to make sure that we're lowering our risk so that if things like this do happen, right, where the market decides that it wants to be inconsistent, even if it's not consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense, then that's what you want to look out for. So let's just say you trade the same amount every single time. You trade $20, $20, $20. If you're trading the orange folder, if you don't have a choice, just make sure you lower your risk to maybe half of that, maybe $10, maybe $5, so that you still get the satisfaction of trading, but you're not putting yourself in a position to blow your account, right? We all know that trading is extremely risky, but we want to kind of manage and lower our risk essentially. So last and not least, and this is why we want to avoid the red folders, right? Because we have the resistance, we have the support, but the market is moving like this. You may think it's about to be regular, like, okay, nope, right? It's just not going to do that, right? And then it's going to come back up. Oh, my goodness. Like, it's just not going to act right at all. Like, it's just going to be all over the place. So where you may think you have a good entry point, right? Because you found a good support, or you may think you found a good resistance, the market is very likely to break through that thing at any given time because the news is unpredictable, right? I don't know who this guy is. Oh, yes, I do. But it's like he is going to be testifying, right? He's going to be testifying, and that could really affect how people are viewing the United States, right? That could really affect how people are viewing the United States, which means that the dollar is going to be selling, buying, selling. People don't know what to do, right? So make sure when you do your analysis, because guys, this is step one. but it's extremely important to understand the type of risk that you're taking on when you get into a trade. So if this little visual, right, of the colored folders makes sense, drop a 1 in the chat, and we're going to move on to step 2, right? If this makes sense. So basically avoid red folders, try to focus on yellow or no folder at all. All right, thank y'all, thank y'all. Okay, good. I thought these was the old ones. Cool. So step 2, everybody is going to have a different broker. I am using Pocket Option. Let me go to my demo account. I'm using Pocket Option. So step 2, after you figure out what's going on in the world, and it really shouldn't take that long. And I'm also going to explain to you guys why your time frame matters, and this has to be one of the best explanations that I'm going to give you guys for how to get into a trade and when, because I know that's an issue for a lot of people. So step 1, no red folders around the time that you want to trade. Step 2, choose your currency based on payout. I typically start from the top of the list and just work my way down. So for example, I'm gonna just start with AUDCAD simply because it's at the top of the list, and it also has a payout over 70%. Now that's just a preference. If I'm risking $10, I want to make sure that I'm getting back more than half of what $10 is, which would be $7, right? I'm not going to go in for a $50 risk. I don't even want to go in for a 60% risk. So it's up to you, but I'm going to start with AUDCAD because I just worked my way down the list. The reason why you want to avoid OTC pairs, and this is not forever. I just don't want you guys to get into this, especially if you don't understand the risk of regular trading, right? OTC is a completely different market. Yes, the percentage is high. Yes, you can make what, $1 and a few more change by doing it, but OTC really doesn't have a scanner that's attached to it. I'm not even sure if you can find trades for OTC on TradingView. So it's extremely unpredictable unless you understand support and resistance, unless that's something that you're dedicated to learning, because it makes no sense to try to risk more money to make more money if you still don't know what you're doing, right? So if you do want to trade OTC, you want to have the option to trade on the weekends, you really want to keep it going, you want to be greedy and take advantage of these high payouts, even though it's mad options, learn support and resistance, right? I always encourage people, do not trade OTC because it's just too risky when there are other options. It's not that you can't. Why increase your risk if you don't have to, right? So I'm going to choose AUDCAD. It's 85%, step 2. Now, step 3, this is when we start collecting our indicators, right? So it's 3 words that you guys, I want you to understand. And the first word is indicator, right? The first word is indicator, right? And the indicator is just something that is telling you about the price. It's one particular thing that's telling you about the price, right? So there's 3 definitions that we're going to focus on today. Is indicator, which is one particular tool, right? One particular tool designed to tell you about price action. And I'll drop this in the chat as well, right? An indicator is one, and I have to emphasize that, one particular tool designed to help you understand price, right? One thing. Now, the second word that we're going to understand is strategy, right? The second word that we need to understand is strategy, right? Because a strategy is more than one, right? Particular tool, more than one particular tool to help you understand price, right? So when we get into the currency strength meter, this is going to be our first indicator, right? Because it's the first thing that we're using to observe the price. Then when we choose our strategy, right, we have the simple scalper strategy, because the simple scalper strategy has 6 indicators. We have the pickpocket strategy, which has, I believe, 3 to 4 indicators. We have the Webslinger strategy, which has over 20 indicators, right? So indicator is one thing. A strategy is more than one thing that's giving you an overall view of the price, right? If that makes sense, y'all, drop a 7 in the chat. If that makes sense. Okay. And the only reason I really want to distinguish that for you guys right now is because the currency strength meter, which is step 3, is actually our first indicator, right? It's only our first indicator. It's not the be all end all be all as to what we're doing in the market. So if I'm looking at, what pair did we choose? We chose AUDCAD, right? So if I'm looking at AUDCAD, I know that somebody tell me would the first indicator go for the buyers or the sellers, right? If I'm looking at AUDCAD, who would get the first confirmation? Okay, I see buy, but I'm seeing more sellers. And in this case, we know that this market would more so be selling, right? This market would more so be selling, right? And I'm going to tell you guys why. There's two types of currencies within a pair, right? A pair has two currencies, right? So the first currency is the base currency, right? So first currency is the base. And I'm dropping this in the chat as well, right? And the second currency is the quote, right? So I'm gonna drop something else in the chat. If the base is stronger than the quote, right? If the base is stronger than the quote, that is one confirmation for a buy, right? If the base is weaker than the quote, that's one confirmation for a sell, right? So in the case of AUDCAD, we see that the base currency is weaker than the quote currency. Hence, the sellers would get the first point for that market, right? The sellers would get the first point for that market. And I'm saying points because when I'm analyzing the market, I'm just taking a tally, right? Because I don't know what's going on. That's why I'm doing my analysis, right? If I was that intuitive and I knew how to look at the market without analyzing it, I would just go straight to pocket option. I wouldn't do any technical analysis. I wouldn't check the news because I would go based on my feelings, which is sentimental, and you don't want to do that. So I'll typically make a little T chart like this in my notebook. I'm only writing it on my screen so that everybody can see. And at this screen, this is literally where I'm going to start collecting my confirmation. So AUDCAD, I can see that the sellers are going to get the first point. And as I actually move into my strategy, I'm going to collect more confirmations for either the buyers or the sellers. So at the end, it'll be like something like this. The sellers will have 4 and the buyers will have 1, leading me to focus on the sell, right? So right now the sellers have 1, right? The sellers have 1 based on this. Now, if we were looking at the currency pair, let's see, GBP USD, who would get the first point? If we were looking at GBP USD. Yep, the buyers. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Haley. Thank you. Thank you. So key, it wouldn't really be GBP. It would just be the buyers. Like the GBP is the first currency, but we know that it's the buyers. Okay. So as long as we understand that, we understand how to use this as a confirmation. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Now, step 4, let's actually get into the strategy, right? Because this is my favorite part. My favorite part. So when you first log into the Liberty scanner, you want to go to goliberty.im and you're going to use your same exact login that you've been using when you log into IM Mastery Academy. If you are in Canada, HFX has been no longer have access to the products in Canada. Canada no longer has access to HFX products. So you won't be able to do this. However, if you are in Canada, you want to set up a one-on-one so I can show you how to recreate the Liberty scanners on the Harmonic scanner, please reach out to me so that you can still trade HFX. So when you come here, you choose your strategy. It starts on Webslinger, so we don't have to do anything. But if we were choosing a different strategy, we would click here, choose our strategy, Webslinger. You need to make sure that the currency pair that's being scanned in real time is the same currency pair that you selected. So you see we chose AUDCAD. We need to make sure it's the same thing over here. So just click on the screen anywhere. It doesn't have to be here. Click anywhere and type AUD, right? CAD. And in this case, we typically do start on the 5, right? So we're going to start on the 5 just so I can break this down to y'all, but then we're actually going to go back to the 15. So with the Webslinger, we're going to go to the 5-minute, right? And this is something very important that I think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to trading, right? When you get into a trade, the absolute best time for you to get into, and please like write this down. I'm gonna try to figure it out. And then when I figure it out the right way to say, then you have to write it down. But the best time to get into the trade is at the beginning of the very next candle, right? At the beginning of the very next candle. So this is one reason why I like to choose the 5-minute time frame because it's not that I can't do my analysis in 1 minute. It's just that I want to take time to actually count my confirmations and then wait for the best entry, right? So the term or phrase patience pays actually has a lot of levels to it. Because if and this is really going to up somebody's trading game today, because I know it definitely changed mine when I slow down and I apply this every time. If we're scanning this market, right, every 5 minutes, that means that a new candle is going to come up here every 5 minutes, right? Now, what does that mean? It means that if the time right now is 10:41, right, a.m., the next best time for me to actually enter a trade is going to be, somebody tell me, what time is the next time I should get into a trade if the time right now is 10:42 and we're on a 5-minute scanner, right? Exactly. 10:45, because whichever time, yes, you guys are so smart. Whichever time frame you are analyzing on, right? You want to make sure that that's when you're entering your trades, right? So if we're on a 5-minute time frame, we know that the best time to enter the trade is going to be 10:05, right? Now we close to 10:45, 10:50, 10:55, 11, and so on and so forth, right? So even if you do get your entry points and you do get your confirmations and you do get these things, you still want to slow down and wait until the next candle is about to form so that you have the best entry. And here is why, right? If you guys understand why, drop a 1 in the chat. If you want a visual representation, drop a question mark. Okay. All right. So I will just draw it out for you guys to understand why you want to enter on the 5 minute, why you want to enter on the, like, whichever time frame you're analyzing, that's when you want to wait to enter, right? And this is why. So let's just say I'll do two examples. I'll do the sell and I'll do the buy, right? So this is going to be my 5-minute candle, right? This is going to be my 5-minute candle for the sell, right? And we're going to put a wick right there. And then I'm going to draw a 5-minute candle for my blue candle as well. Right? And let's do the same thing, right? And I'm going to put 5 ticks here, because this should help you understand why you trade on the 1-2. So this is the whole candle, and each of one of these green lines represents a minute, right? A minute within that 5-minute candle, right? So let's just say we do all of our analysis, right? Let's do the sell first. Let's just say we do all of our analysis, right? And we say we're going to get into this trade at 10:45. So we get in as soon as this candle starts at 10:45. Let me get a different color. As soon as this candle starts at 10:45, we get in right here, right? Because this is our entry point, right? This is our entry point. As soon as that candle opened for the sell, because red candles open at the top and go down, we would have got in right here because that's where the candle started. Now imagine if you waited, right, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you got in right here, right, for the sell. But we know the market is going to be going up and down the whole time. But when you get into the sell, the market decides that it wants to be right here. And it's not, it is dropping, but you got in at the 3rd minute. So your entry point is right here, right? Your entry point is right here. It's not up here for a sell, which would have been better if the market is closing down here, right? You want to get in as high as possible for a sell if you want to be in deep profits. And the same thing for a buy, right? Let's just say this is the entry price, right? As soon as 10:45 started, this is where the market was at. But we doing our analysis at 10:47, so we get up here, right? Even if the market did close right here, your entry point is so close to this and not a really valid entry point, right? If that makes sense, y'all, drop a 2 in the chat, right? You want to start as soon as the candle starts, because if it's going up, it's going to keep going up, which means your entry point is going to be higher. And if it decides that it wants to go back down, you have a higher chance of getting spiked out, right? So you want to make sure you're slowing down and taking your entries as close to the new candle forming as possible. Like, for example, this new candle just formed. It's 10:45 p.m. If I were to go over here, right, and maybe get in for a sell, let's just see what happens, right? Let's just see what happens. But let's get into the confirmations for this strategy and why, what's the best time to enter. But I did have to break that down to you guys because now we're going to go backwards, right? So this is going to be called the 3x3 Webslinger strategy, right? Let's see what's going on over here. So this trade should clear. Oh, this needs to be on 3 minutes as well. This is for 3-minute trades, y'all. So pretty much, the 3x3 Webslinger strategy is going to consist of you checking the trend, right, over 3 different time frames. and then you getting at least 3 confirmations that you should go in for that trade. So let's just put our little thing back over here. All right, we got the buyers, we got the sellers. Everything we just did was preliminary information. Now we're going to actually get into the strategy. So confirmation number 1 is who has control on the currency strength meter, AUDCAD. The sellers are going to get that point. 1. Then we have, all right, so there's questions that you want to ask yourself for the Webslinger. You also want to do the trigger words that you would usually do as well. So the trigger words for a sell are going to be red, right? So these are going to be the answers to the questions that you want to ask yourself, right? Red, under, below, lower, and down, right? So if it's a sell, these are the words that you would want to hear, or these are the things that you would want to look for. And if it was a buy, the words that you would want to look for are blue, over, above, higher, and up. Above, higher, and up. And these equal buy confirmation questions. Right? So when it comes to the Webslinger, you ask yourself 3 questions to determine who's actually going to get those points. So question number 1, right? And let's go by this candle, right? What color is the current candle? Right? So we're going to get red. And red is a trigger word for a sell. So we're going to give the sellers that point, right? What color is the current candle? That's always the first question, no matter which strategy you use, because you want to see who has more power right now. Question number 2 with this strategy is, are the candles above or below the web strings, right? And these are the web strings. All these web strings represent are just average places of where price was at for the market. So one of these lines may be the average place for the last 5 candles, the last 10 candles, 15 candles, 20 candles, 30 candles, 40 candles, and so on and so forth. There's about 15 to 20 lines right here. And if we can see that price is not only falling way below all of the previous averages, but the sellers are currently in control, that should let us know that the market is going to continue to drop. Now let's check on our trade, right? Let's just check on our trade to see if we cleared. Oh no, that trade didn't clear. That was 15 points in profit, but let's collect the rest of the confirmations, right? You never want to go with one thing. So question number 1, what color is the current candle? That's red. Question number 2, are the candles above or below the web strings? They're below. So the sellers are going to get another point. Question number 3, right? What color is this cloud, right? And of course, if it's red, that's a confirmation for the sellers. And if it's blue, that will be a confirmation for the buyers. And then you can, well, I guess on the third question, you can ask yourself, well, the second question, are my candles below the web strings and the cloud? Because it has to be both. It has to be below both. So as you can see, the sellers have 4 points, right? The sellers have 4 points, and we have about 60 seconds before we can actually take this trade, right? So similar to the other strategies, you would just get your horizontal line, right? And this is not even giving you an exact entry point. It's just giving you an area. Always put a horizontal line at the top of the candle and at the bottom of the candle, no matter what strategy, no matter what color, because it's going to tell you the highest point that that candle went. Remember the demonstration from earlier is going to tell you the highest place where it was resisting, and it's going to tell you the lowest place that price was actually supported. So if we get in here, just to go back to our demonstration from earlier, we can see that the market is staying within this. Oops, here's my pencil. We can see that the market is actually staying within this zone right now, right? It's staying within this zone, right? It's staying within this zone. So it just reached 1050. We still had the confirmation for the sell around 285 or higher. So let's just see what happens. We will have to wait for it to get to 285 or higher, and then get in for that sell. If that makes sense so far, y'all, drop a 1 in the chat, right? Because we're actually gonna do this on 3 different time frames, right? And it's gonna be just as quick, just as easy, but we're gonna do it on 3 time frames because Webslinger is for a trending market. So we just want to check the trend over different markets, right? So I'm gonna do AUDCAD, but I'm gonna bring this down to the 1 minute, right? I'm gonna bring this down to the 1 minute. So let's do AUDCAD M1. And let's see what's happening over there, because and this is how you use the 333 rule, family. You write down your 15-minute time frame, right? You're gonna write down 15, you're gonna write down 5, and you're gonna write down 1, right? Because you're gonna check on the 15, you're gonna check on the 5, and you're gonna check on the 1. So you're trying to get, because this strategy is meant to be looked at over time, we're trying to get the best understanding of the market in the quickest amount of time. So let's see how our chart is actually looking on the 1 minute, right? Let's do the same thing, buyers and sellers on the 1 minute, right? What color is the current candle? It's blue. Are the candles above or below the web strings and clouds? They're below. What color is the cloud? It's red, right? So on the 1 minute, the sellers win, right? Now we just gonna take it up to the 5. It's literally very quick, y'all. It's very, very, very simple. We already did the 5. Now we're gonna do the 15. AUD, take it to the 15. So we're gonna ask ourselves the same questions once again. What color is the current candle? All right, the current candle is blue. All right, are they above or below the web strings? Below. What color is the cloud? It's a little sketchy, but it looked like it's going for a sell. So in the 5 minute, in the 15 minute, we also get the sellers, and in the 5, we got the sellers. So this gives us 3 confirmations across 3 time frames that the market is going to continue to go down, right? It's going to continue to go down, right? And then you just choose which time frame you want to trade on, since you have the confirmations at all. But since we know it's trending, right, on all 3 time frames, we can actually take the lowest one, and we would just have to get in at the next minute, right? If we're trading on the minute time frame, we have 30 seconds left. So at 10:53, we can get in, right? At 10:53, we should be looking to get in, right? Oh, sorry, y'all. We should be looking to get in at 10:53 around, I would say, 305 or higher for a sell, right? If we're going by the 1 minute time frame, 305 or higher for a sell. If we were on the 5 minute time frame, all right, it'd be a little bit higher. Oh, it's the same thing, y'all. Literally the same thing. So like 306 or higher for a sell. And the time should have changed. So let's just say if we go for a sell for 3 minutes. For 3 minutes, you can see that 1, we're instantly in profit. 2, we have the confirmations. 3, it looks like this market is going to continue to drop over the course of all the time frames, right? You just want to essentially confirm the trend on all time frames to make sure that it's valid. We are going to do another example, but if this makes sense, like it really, really makes sense, drop a yes in the chat, right? Drop a yes in the chat as to if Webslinger is for trending, right? We're checking the trend over certain time frames, and then we're making our decision. We're not just going on one time frame. We need to confirm the trend, right? Yes, Marcus, this is definitely recorded, and it will be posted in the chat. So we are going to do another example as well, right? We still have about 2 minutes left in this trade, right? But I want to make sure we understand how to look at the market, how to do our quick markups, so that we can get into the trades, right? Yep, I can go over the entry points once again. Let me just clear all this stuff off my screen. And again, we don't have to sit here and watch this. We have 1 minute and 50 seconds left. And we just need the market to clear under 307. Once we actually get over all of the confirmations and how to get into the trades, then we're going to go over the last 2 things that you need to look at, which of course are your market watch and your timing. So in this case, I didn't check the market watch because I didn't get to the market watch yet, but I want us to understand how to enter the trades, right? The best timing to enter the trades. And I just wanted to make sure that I enter the trade at 10:53 since I decided I was going to take a 1 minute trade, right? I really need to make sure that that truly, truly, truly makes sense, because knowing how to enter the trade and knowing when to enter the trade together that is what makes you a sniper, right? I know you guys have been on a lot of my live sessions, and I'll always say, well, I'm not going to get in right now because I don't have enough time, or I'm going to wait a few seconds, or patience pays. It's not that I'm telling you don't get into the trade. I'm just telling you that if when everything's aligns, you have a better chance at clearing, right? And I really want everybody to understand that. Like, you may take a L, everything not going to be 100%, but if you could decrease your risk, right, lower your risk as much as possible, then I'm going to do that, right? And that's why I can clear more trades, because I'm more patient, I'm more disciplined, I'm considering more things. Okay, y'all? So we got 30 seconds left. Let's see what happens. This is pretty close. Well, Josh, you said you cleared, so shout out to you. What was your entry point? What was your entry point? I'm actually not surprised. I'm going to see what happens, but I'm not surprised because as we can see, we got in for a sell, but the market watch has majority buyers, which is the last step after we understand how to enter these trades, right? So that's going to be an L. I'm completely fine with that. because we did not do all of the steps. We didn't check our time and we didn't check our market. Watch 310 and 312. Cleared my 5 and 3 minute trades. Awesome. Awesome. So that means that is making sense, right? That means that is making sense. Like I want you guys to come here to understand, not just to do live trading or you'll never get it, right? So awesome. We're going to do one more example. Shout out to you, Corey. Shout out to you, Ruby. Tammy, if you missed anything I said earlier, I'm not sure what you missed, but this video is going to be recorded so that you can go back and watch it from the top. And we're going to do just one more example, y'all, using this 3-minute, 3 time frame, 3 confirmation strategy, right? 3-minute, 3 time frame, 3 confirmation strategy. So I'm just going to pick another currency, right? Clear on the 3 minutes. Awesome. That's really the point, y'all, because I do want you guys to, the reason why I can come in here and do 1-minute trades so quickly is because I actually used to teach the multiple time frame strategy all the time. That's the only way I knew how to teach, because that's how I learned. I'm pretty much not self-taught, but I spent a lot of time studying, making mistakes, losing money to figure out what am I going wrong. And the multiple time frame strategy is definitely been helpful to the past, so bringing it back is great. So I'm going to click another pair. Somebody just drop another pair in the chat that we can look at really quickly. No preference, just anything. And we're going to take it from the top and do the same thing again. All right, I see Euro GBP. So I'm gonna go to Euro GBP. Let me just check the news again. Euro GBP. All right, we're in the clear for that. We're in the clear for the payout. Let's refresh this page. Euro GBP. All right, y'all. So let's start collecting our confirmations, right? Overall. So who gets the first point, the buyers or the sellers for Euro GBP? All right, so we're going to go with the sellers, right? And the sellers are going to get the first point. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to go to Euro GBP. We're going to start in the 15, right? Because we're going to work our way down. So now let's ask ourselves, well, before you do anything, make sure you put your horizontal line at the top and at the bottom, just so that we can have it there in the 15, right? Now let's ask ourselves the confirmation questions, right? So we got 15, 5, 1, right? So in the 15, the color of the current candle is red, right? So that's 1 point for the sellers. It's under the clouds and the string. So that's 2 points for the sellers. And it's looking like this cloud is blue. So I'll give that point for the buyers, but I can say that in the 15-minute time frame, I'm just going to overall give it to the sellers, right? Because they clearly have more points. Now we're going to do the same thing in the 5, right? Euro. And this is just confirming that the trend is strong, right? That's all that we're doing, is confirming that the trend is strong. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our line, right? We're going to take our line. We're going to ask ourselves the same questions once again. What color is the current candle? We got red. Are they below the clouds and strings? Yes, it is. What color is the cloud? It's blue. And I'm placing the line at the top of the candle and at the bottom of the candle, because when you create the support and resistance, you want to know the highest place that price has been within that particular time frame that you're studying. So I'm only price trapping the current candle. So in the 5-minute, we also see that the sellers are in control, and you're welcome. And on the 1 minute, we're also going to do the same thing, right? We're going to do M1. We're going to ask ourselves these questions. Again, always put your horizontal line at the top of the candle and at the bottom of the candle. If you guys have seen this other video that I did, this other training video, as long as I typically will build a house, right? And this is just the extra step that you can take. You can take 2 vertical lines. You can take 2 vertical lines and put them on the sides of the current candle, just so that you know what to focus on. And then you take a horizontal line and put it at the top and at the bottom. And as long as your candle is within this box, it does not matter if the line is right here. It does not matter if the line is right here. It does not matter if the line is right there, right there, right there, right there. As long as the candle is inside of the box, your entry point for the sell is going to be the top line, and your entry point for the buy is going to be the bottom line. So a new candle has formed. We're going to move our vertical lines over, right? And let's just get our confirmations on the 1 minute. And the questions are, what color is the current candle? We can see that it's right now, it is blue. Oh, well, it's red. It's blue. I'm just going to go with, let's see. The current candle is red. It's under the strings, it's under the clouds, and the candle is red. So it doesn't matter. Even on all time frames, the sellers still have control, right? On all time frames, it's majority sellers. And we know that a potential entry point is going to be 252 or higher, right? Because we have 247. Depending on your broker, you have to add some points, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. Yep. So we know that at 252 or higher, right, we should be able to get in for a 1 minute sell, because on the 1 minute time frame, it was confirmed, right? 252 or higher, we should be able to get in for a 1 minute sell. If that is making sense, y'all, why you want to check it on multiple time frames, how to check it on multiple time frames, just drop a 1 in the chat. If you have a question about that, drop a 2 in the chat, because all you're doing is the same type of analysis, but on multiple time frames, right? So we got, all right, it's 253. The previous lines don't disappear, but you're not going to see them, and they really don't matter, because you never really have a true entry point. It's not a true entry point. It's like, essentially, if you have the confirmations and you're waiting for the market, like you're waiting for 11 o'clock, then it's like getting in at, what is it called on MT4? It's like getting in at market execution. It doesn't matter what's going on if you're getting in at the top of a new candle that you have the confirmations on, if that makes sense. Like your entry point essentially is not going to matter if you're getting in at the top of that candle. And if you notice when we do our other entry points, we're starting from the top of the candle, because that the best entry point is going to be the new candle. If that makes sense, y'all. So we was waiting for 252 or higher. The reason why I did not get into the trade is because my market watch was not in my favor, right? So after we count our confirmations, after we check it on multiple time frames, after we determine if we're getting in for the buy or for the sell, for my pocket option folks, make sure that the market is in your favor, right? Because if I wanted to get in for a sell right now, let's just say it's above 252 or higher. Let me get in for a sell, right? I'm gonna click this red button. When I got into this trade, you guys can clearly see that it was 65% buyers and 35% sellers. If I'm going for a sell, I would want the sellers to be in my majority as well. So this is why I did not click the button yet. I was waiting for this to switch into my favor. As you guys can see, it did not switch into my favor. And you can also see that I am not in profit, right? But I did not expect to be in profit because I'm trading against the trend. This is a point in your trading where the market watch becomes extremely crucial in your decision, because we just checked the trend on multiple time frames. If we confirmed that the trend is selling on multiple time frames, we want to make sure that once we get into that trade, the market watch confirms that as well, because this is clearly showing us that there's some resistance about what we just observed, right? It's telling us that we actually would have wanted to wait to get into the trade maybe at 11:05, right? And not take a 1 minute trade simply because the market is not in our favor yet, right? We still got 2 minutes in this trade. Market watch still has not switched. So it is looking shaky and unpredictable. So make sure you guys are slowing down and checking that out as well. So is it still okay to get in even when the cloud is more in the background instead of being above or low? No, because that's not one of the questions that you asked. The candles literally have to be above for a buying trend or below for a selling trend. If it's in the middle, that's not even a question that was asked or presented, because that's not a confirmation. Whenever you see the candles falling between two lines, whenever you see the candles in the middle of anything, that's letting you know that the market is consolidating and nobody has true control at that moment. So you need, if you don't need to do anything, if you want to lower your risk, right, you want to make sure that everything you're looking at is in the favor of what you're looking at. Like, it makes no sense to go against the trend. It makes no sense to count a confirmation or try to bend the confirmation, because you're essentially doctoring your own results. You're like, well, the candle was in the middle of the cloud, not above or below. I'm gonna give it to the sellers. It's like, that is not a true analysis of what's actually going on in the market. So does that make sense, Rich? If it's not above, if it's not pertaining to one of the trigger words like up, above, over, below, then it really doesn't apply. So just let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, all right, y'all, we're going to do just literally just one more example. We're going to incorporate the market watch. We're going to incorporate timing. We're going to do everything. So we're going to enter this trade at, if we're looking at a 5-minute time frame, y'all, what time are we going to be getting into this trade? This next trade that we're going to enter. Yep, 11:10, right? So how long do we have to do our analysis? Yep, thank you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you, Janina. Thank you, Josh. And how much time do we have? Yep, we have 3 minutes. Yep, 3 to 4 minutes, depending on what your time says. So let's do this quickly, right? Let's do this quickly. And this is why you want to use the whole 5 minutes. This is why, even if you were taking a 3-minute trade, you can see that you don't even have time to analyze it, right? You would need to still be doing a 5-minute analysis and wait until the next 3-minute opportunity, right? So we have about 3 minutes left. I'm just going to choose GBP JPY, and I'm just going to get through my confirmations quickly, just so that you guys can see that I can do this, right? I can do this. You're only looking for very, very basic things, GBP JPY. Right? You're only asking yourselves 3 quick little questions, right? So we got M15, and I can look at this really quickly and say sellers, buyers, sellers, right? So that's 2 and 2, right? So on my 5-minute time frame, I know that nobody's in control. So I'm not even going to act on that. Or the 15-minute, nobody's in control. So now I'm going to bring it back to the 5. On my 15-minute, I literally see half and half, 2 and 2, right? So on my 5, I see blue candle above the clouds and strings, 2, 3, red cloud. I see the buyers are in control. So far, nobody's in control on the 15, buyers in control on the 5. I'm gonna do the same thing on the 1, right? All right, now it's looking like it's pushing up for the buy, right? But since this is a 1 minute, I'm pretty sure in the next 30 seconds or so, the new candle should be starting up here, right? If it's going to continue to go up. So this market is actually looking a little shaky. Like I literally see 50-50 for everything. So if I was y'all, I wouldn't even force it. I would honestly look at another pair, right? Because it's just too much half and half. I don't see anybody in control, right? So I have about 2 minutes left, probably 60 seconds. So I'm going to look at EuroCAD. I'm going to check the currency strength. EuroCAD, 1 point for the buyers so far. I'm going to come over here, EuroCAD. And I'm not going fast on purpose, y'all. I'm really just showing y'all that you can really count these confirmations quickly, right? But you do have 5 minutes, right? So I see a red candle above the lines and clouds, blue cloud, right? So I see the buyers in control on the 15. Let me try this on the 5. I see buyers on the 15th. I see 1, 2. I see buyers on the 5, even though it's risky for the sell. It's very risky. And then I'm going to just check the buy on the 1 minute. Check the confirmations on the 1 minute. And it's the same thing, essentially. So it's looking like a potential buy would be here. I see more confirmations for the buy. That's at around 240 or lower for a buy. Now I just have to make sure, what time is it? I have to make sure that at 11:10, if the market is around 245 and the market watch is in my favor and I have enough time, I should be Gucci, right? So all I need is for the market to either drop down to 245 by, it's 11:10 now. If not, I just have to recheck on the 1 minute to see when's the next best time I can get in, right? And it's still the same thing. Now I just have to wait for my entry, right? So I'm waiting for 245 or lower. I'm also waiting for the market watch to go in my favor. And then I'm going to enter the trade. Yep, buyers on the 1 minute too. Yep, so buyers overall have control of this market. However, not at this particular second. So I'm just going to wait, right? I'm just going to wait because if I get in right now, right? If I get in, oh, well, now everything's aligning. So that's good. Now it's aligning, right? It's 77%, which is good. And the market is shooting up. Perfect. Perfect. And it's still 11:10. And it's still 11:10, right? So that was actually a really good example, y'all. That was actually a great example. We got in, when the newest candle formed, we had our confirmation against multiple time frames. The market watch went in our favor right at 11:10 because a new candle formed, so everything was aligned. So that was a really perfect setup. That was a really perfect setup. And we still have 3 minutes left in this trade. So let's just see what happens, right? Let's see what happens because the buyers, as we can see right now, they have a strong hold on the market. And we still have 3 minutes left with confirmations going in favor of the buyers, right? The confirmation is going in favor of the buyers. So let's just see what happens. We do have a whole 2 minutes left in this trade, and we're just going to wait it out. We are going to wait it out. But yeah, guys, that probably would have been a good 1 minute trade because that it was confirmed on the one. But it could have also been a 3 minute or 5 minute trades, but we still got 2 minutes and we're going to see what happens. Does IQ have market watch? I'm not sure. I've never personally used IQ Cent. If anybody with IQ Cent, could you let us know in the chat if you guys have market watch or a similar feature? Okay, say yes. All right. So we're literally just waiting for this trade to play out. The only thing I can say with this one right here is that we probably, because we got the final confirmation for the buy on the 1 minute, as you can see, we would have cleared in the 1 minute. But let's just see. We still got a whole minute and 30 seconds left and anything can literally happen. So yeah, essentially the time frame that you analyze is going to correspond with the time frame that you're trading on, right? So everybody's entry point is going to be different. Their timing is going to be different. Your understanding of what you're looking at, why you enter, when you enter is all going to be different. But just know that if you check it across multiple time frames, you get a stronger trend. Trade on that trend, right? Trade on that trend. All right. So guys, I think that is all for, wait, let's see what happens with this trade. 1 second, y'all. I still have 48 seconds. I am in at 1047. Market's currently at 260. Let me just share my screen so we finish this trade and then we'll wrap it up. Let's just see. Let's end it together. Let's be in this together. 30 seconds left. Iron spiked at 259. Yeah, of course. Yep, I'll definitely post this trade in the chat as well, y'all. No problem. But yeah, y'all, this is like, it's a simple strategy. It's not advanced at all. But oh, look at this, y'all. Look at this nonsense. Look at this nonsense. It's about to go up. But anyway, this strategy is, look at this, y'all. Look at this. But anyway, this is a simple strategy, but it is for people who have patience. It is for people who don't mind sitting there for 30 minutes and only taking 3 trades because you want everything to be aligned so perfectly. You want everything to be aligned so perfectly. As you guys can see, if I would have gotten literally 1 second later, that trade would have cleared. So it's not ever a matter of if, it's always a matter of when. I will post this video on the channel as well. And if you guys, the market just, it just does what it wants. And it's just about, again, timing, patience. But hopefully you guys were in your demo because this is just a demonstration of how it works, why it works, why is this happening. It's not meant to sit on every training session and clear. That's not the purpose. It's to learn so that when you go back and practice and apply what we just talked about, you're like, oh, I see what Cha-Cha was talking about. So now when you use your demo account, because this is how I use my demo account, I'll literally, let me turn my camera back on. I'll literally do what we just did, right, y'all? I'll be like, all right, let me try this out. 270, all right, 272. And I'll see if it's going to clear. If it don't clear at 270 in my demo, why would I take it in my live, right? But had I not taken that one extra step to even test out my analysis in my demo and be like, all right, cool, I see we clearing at 330. That's what we doing. Bet I'm taking it to the live account. But if we just hop into our live and now we like, fuck, that entry point was too low, or damn, that entry point was too high. Now you just lost real money for absolutely no reason at all. Like literally no reason at all. So I'm just going to say when you blow an account, that's really is on you because you have your demo. I don't know how many times I stress to y'all, use your demo, live in your demo, use your demo, test it out in your demo, try it out in your demo, practice makes profits, but people don't listen. Like they just don't listen. So practice, support and resistance, because with that information, you can do anything. With support and resistance, you can do anything. You can do anything here, there, over there. With this platform, this program, this tool, like support and resistance is life. I don't care if you're using these products or other products. If you don't understand support and resistance, it don't matter. Like, it does not matter. So, all right, y'all, that's really all I have to say. If you guys have any questions, feel free to text me. I will drop my new number in the chat because my old number, no, that's not my number. This is my number, y'all, 973-218-4560. Oh, no, that's not it. It's 973-218, not 318, 973-218-4560. So you guys can text me if you have questions. 4560. All right, y'all. Love y'all. See y'all later.